private detectives, Hertz College whatever, and Yola Taco to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily. I want tacos.
Emphatically. And we're here to talk about Season 3, Episode 16, and I left my notes to the right of me. Un-American Graffiti. I should remember that one.
Oh, I was like, why is it called that? Because the only thing I remembered, like, coming into this was the last scene. I forgot the entire.
Oh, really?
And then I was like, oh, yeah.
You're living a blessed life.
We call that selective retention.
I guess so, but you blocked out a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, this is an awful episode.
This is just garbage tier episode. This is one of the worst episodes.
Well, and it's like they're trying to say something, but like...
Oh, it's so bad.
White people wrote this.
Very much so. There's the white people of like, hey, we should give everybody a chance. But then white people also moralizing at other races. You can't have that. You can't have that both ways.
You know what the most damaging part, though, is? Is that it sets a narrative that only Hicks are racist.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who aren't Hicks who are racist. And I know a handful of Hicks that aren't racist.
Uh-huh. And that we should also give them a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gets forgiven. And spoiler alert, the other guy who made a flyer and also took pictures of someone creepily, not letting that go, but he gets deported.
Yeah.
He gets picked up by ICE.
Yeah. And I think also, like, we're just going to brush over the fact that he was, like, taking pictures of them hooking up from a tree. Like, no one else was, like, bothered by that besides, like... Veronica?
Yeah, the dad was not bothered by that at the end. He goes, you know what? That cartoon at Against America? Unacceptable.
Yeah.
The pictures of my daughter? Perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's okay to be a perv. It's just not okay.
You can't go against America?
Yeah, you just can't be un-American.
I understand that he has a right to free speech, but...
Why make that character a perv? I just have so many... It's just weird.
Yeah, it's really bad. But then the virulent racist who graffitied a restaurant and vandalized it is like, he's sympathetic because his brother went to Iraq. Well, he should be fucking pissed at America. And I know that's not how it works in real life, but we shouldn't let him off the hook in the episode.
Well, and we shouldn't write it into a narrative so that people think this is appropriate.
Right.
We should be educating with our arts.
Mm-hmm. It is TV that is made for white people to feel good. We looked at racism. Hey, we solved it.
Look at that. We fixed it.
Yeah.
Have a cookie.
Exactly. And, we'll get more into it as we go through. But I did, up top.
You owe me an apology.
Hey, I'm not sorry for thinking the way I was, but I do want to tell you were right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because I was thinking...
That's even better than an apology.
See, exactly.
Telling me I'm right. Ooh, that Aquarius. You feed that ego, baby.
Because I'm not sorry for thinking what I thought, but you were right and I was wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. God,
it's
awful.
Yeah, because so why I was dying on that hill last week is because where else does that road lead to besides here?
No, so my hope and my beautiful thoughts I had last week, and I was wrong on more than one thing. Even outside that, we're referring to Park and Logan. Even outside of that, I'm wrong on a separate occasion, which we'll get to. But I was like, oh, he's gonna go back to Parker, and Parker's gonna be like, no, we can't do this. I don't feel comfortable with this. Was the thought I had.
No.
I was foolish.
No, because she didn't ask for Veronica's permission. She just gave her a heads up. And those are two very different things.
Right. But it seems like I read this scene, and when she talks to him, it's like, hey, like, this friendship I have, that's too good. We can't. And then Logan is just like, I can't let my ex, who I'm friends with, quote unquote, even though we didn't talk about it.
But I did visit her in jail.
Exactly. I still got that tracker on her. That if she's standing in our way, and then he would go back and she would go, this isn't how this works. But It's how it works. Bananas.
Well, I don't know what else you were wrong about, but I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, we'll get there. Any other thoughts before we jump in?
I want more Piz content.
Oh, that is a great thing to call out.
Piz content. I
Mhm.
need more Piz content. You know
Yeah.
what? I feel like when I picked you up
Mhm.
on that street corner that night,
Uh-huh.
I made that sound like I drove up and
It
picked
was,
you up.
oh, never mind. I can't make the reference. Keep going.
I found myself a little Piz in waiting. You're like, I'm not gonna.
That's me.
I didn't know Piz yet because I'd never seen this, but you weren't gonna go all in
Mhm.
unless like you felt comfortable going all in or you thought you had nothing to lose.
There you go.
And yeah, I was like, I get Piz.
Hmm. Me too.
When you were that age-ish,
Hmm.
you were a Piz-like character.
Well, thank you. I take that as a high compliment.
It is.
Yep. And people at the time were split, and still are starting with this, but more when it was like on the air. Team Piz and Team Logan. Firmly, we've planted our flags before, but
Yeah.
let it be known that we have raised the flag of Piz.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the
really wish-
ceremony.
I really wish they had named him something else because like raising the flag of Piz sounds really bad, and you just need to, think.
Hey,
about
I have
that.
no shame. I just imagine us having a ceremony with like trumpets as there's like this flag of Piz's face on it, and we're like raising it up.
I like Piz, and I'm happy about this episode in that aspect and that aspect alone.
Yep.
It was validated, I was vindicated, and then I
Mhm.
got the happy ending I wanted.
Yeah.
But I didn't like anything else that happened.
No. Strong ending
Uh-huh. Strong ending.
and a fucking car crash leading up to it.
Mm-hmm. So, shall we jump in?
Yeah.
It's morning time. We're in the cafeteria thing that I don't know what it is. And apparently you can also buy coffee at the same place where you buy your lunch salad, which is
Uh-huh.
fair. Why are there no coffee carts at this school, though?
I know, that is weird.
Because you know what I loved in college?
Mhm.
Going to being the person that opened the coffee cart. Because a lot of them didn't open until 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then your class started at 8. And if you were there at like 7:58, like the ones by the HSSB that are like right by the classrooms,
Yeah.
if you smiled real cute at the guy or girl working at the cart, they would get you your coffee before.
Wow. Some of us had our headphones in and are just like, well, it's just any minute now it'll come up and then I'll make the transaction and we won't have to talk.
No, I'd be like, good morning. And then I'm like, I'm just having a black coffee. And they'd give me my black coffee and I'd get to go to class and be on time.
That sounds lovely.
It was 10 out of 10 recommend just smiling at people when you're not wearing a mask. I mean, these were the olden days back when people could
Pre-COVID.
see your teeth.
Right. Intimidating monkeys.
I just girded them.
Uh-huh.
Now if someone looks at me, I hiss and I walk away.
Exactly. Put your mask on.
But I used to smile and people would give me my coffee on time. But we're getting coffee and Logan's at the front of the line. Veronica's at the back of the line. She sees Logan at the front. She's kind of like, ooh, I'll just kind of like try to not be noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
When you actively try to hide, you become visible. I would like everyone to write that down right now. When you actively try to hide, you become the most suspicious person in the room.
Totally. And his beeper started going off when she came in the vicinity.
Oh, because he's tracking her?
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so then he buys 2 coffees because he sees her and he gives her a coffee. He's like, I'd hate for you to be under caffeinated. And she's like, what are you doing up so early? Shouldn't you be like in the ocean?
Mhm.
Surfing.
Shouldn't you be in the bottom of the ocean? I thought I tied cinder blocks to your
I was
feet.
gonna say, did the cement not stick? And he's like, yeah, I got early morning biology or whatever. And it's like, he goes to class in the morning for Parker. He didn't go in the class in the morning for Veronica.
Right. And hey, isn't it so nice that I'm telling you all this of how I am this person with Parker and I'm buying you a coffee and inconveniencing you by like bringing all this up?
And then here, I'm going to buy you a coffee.
Friend that makes me feel superior.
In exchange for you to have to be traumatized by my existence. And then he's like, hey, by the way, it's Parker's birthday this weekend and I'm throwing her a party because I'm a good boyfriend. And I know you probably had a birthday while we were dating, but I don't know when. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I have your social security number memorized for the pager, but
Right. Yeah.
God, it's so fucking awful. And he's like, yeah. He's like, come to Parker's birthday. I know it would mean a lot to her, and I'd love for you to be there too.
Right.
No, the answer to that question is no. You know what? You set a firm fucking boundary, and you tell your friends that they have to pick a fucking side because this gets worse.
It definitely gets worse.
And this is why when people...
And then as a power move, he walks away and calls her Vicky.
Oh my God. When someone is that awful to you, you tell your friends how awful they were. Mm-hmm. And then if your friends continue to like encourage their friends to date them, you find better friends.
Yes. This is a prime example of Veronica needing to cut ties with that side of her friend group and joining the other side of the friend group, which it seems like, it's working with.
Yes.
But yeah, my God, I was just like, Jesus Christ, am I in bed? What is happening in this friend group?
Well, and why is Logan's only here because he dated Veronica?
Yep.
So this shouldn't have. This is no. You think about where people came from to get to your friend group before you date them. Right. Think about who introduced you and what their romantic relationship was. If you're over the age of like 18.
Yes.
High school, it's a fucking nightmare. I'm sorry, you do you, and you try not to like you just survive, thrive, baby. But college, you're an adult now.
Especially later. With how certain characters reference their relationship in high school together, there is no reason for them to be in the same room.
No. And I will die on this hill. Mm-hmm. Logan is a bad person.
Yes.
He sucks. Mm-hmm. And as much as I think he is an adorable human being and he gets some of the best written lines,
totally.
I'd bop him in the face if I saw it.
Yeah, but he's so punchable in this episode.
Well, and just in this season, even back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's not fun when he's not like being her like partner.
No, and well-adjusted Logan is just the cheesiest dude ever, and also smug.
Well, and they did this with Duncan, so it's like they did the same character development for two. It's like, don't you remember?
But Duncan's just kind of like this blank slate that's like hanging out with Veronica. And so when we call well-adjusted Duncan, it's like when he like all of his like bad qualities just got paved over, and he's just kind of this like blank person that just shows up at Veronica's side every now and then. Yep. But like Logan has all this other shit going on.
Oh God. So then we cut over to Mars Investigations. Veronica's in there doing some paperwork, whatever, because Keith can't be investigating right now. He's interim sheriff.
Yeah, I wrote a sad face.
A client comes in and she's like, hey, can someone take this case? And Veronica's like, oh no, sorry, my dad's interim sheriff now. And she's like, but aren't you the lady who owns Babylon Gardens? We love your food, because it's a takeout restaurant. And she's like, yes, but someone's vandalizing our store. And so she's like, okay, fine, I will take the case.
Yep.
Then we cut over to this random scene of a drunk 19-year-old leaving a bar. The guy working the bar, like who owns it, waking him up, being like, "Sign your bill and leave," which is like a weird. It's not. And then
I mean, he would have gotten kicked out otherwise, but he.
Yeah, but for the owner to be the one that's standing there, it's like, what? I feel like if you're in a college town, you probably have like college people working the bar because you don't want to have to deal with them.
Right, or at least people that are asking for it. Get him out of there.
Security.
Yeah.
And a kid walks out, he leaves, and he gets hit by a car.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a problem. We cut back over. V is like, you know what? I'm going to do a stakeout. I'm going to set up some cameras, but like tonight I'm just going to watch Babylon Gardens and see what happens. While she's sitting there thinking about how she's like, I don't want to go to Parker's party.
Us too.
Same. Me neither. You know what? I don't want to go to Parker's party either.
Yeah, fuck her.
Especially because it's at Logan's hotel. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I have strong feelings about this hotel room.
Yes.
A girl comes up and knocks on the window. We find out it's a girl she went to school with. Amira.
Yeah. So she references talking to Veronica the pirate points all the way back in season 1 of like when it's the election episode. Amira's not in it, but like she references like, oh hey, like you were the person that was trying to get rid of our pirate points.
Yeah, you made all my pirate points go away.
Yeah. So she was obviously one of the popular kids from that episode, but just Yeah. And then Veronica makes a reference of like, oh yeah, I don't see you on campus.
Yeah. And she's like, why are you out here? And she's like, your mom hired me. And then she's like, ha, my mom. And then walks inside and you're like, okay, that's weird.
Right. I thought it was like setting up that she was like somehow involved.
Yeah.
But it just goes nowhere. She's just like, my mom, the idiot.
Mom. Dumb mom. Even though she's the only one running this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then Dad comes out. Dad's pissed. Dad's like, why are you here? And the mom is like, I hired her. And he's like, you can't hire a girl because I'm sexist, which is also gross. Like, don't paint this character as sexist just because he's a man and he is Middle Eastern.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% where they're going with this.
Yeah, I was like, we do not. That's if he's also all pro America. Like, there's no reason why he would be a sexist.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like he could be a very nice man who respects and supports women.
Right, exactly.
And thinks that a woman could do this job, but doesn't want her doing the job because, XYZ.
Right, she's in college.
Or like, oh, hey, I don't want anyone doing this because I want to. He wanted to do it himself. Was what it was.
Yeah, totally. Just any other reason other than playing into Middle Eastern stereotype.
She's a little girl.
Yeah.
So then, while they're out there arguing, these kids in the yellow truck come running down the road, and paintball gun at them. Paintball gun at them?
They shoot
at them.
Yeah.
Nope, it's a paintball gunner.
It's a gunnerama.
She's so in with the kids and all their paintballers.
So how do they get the paint in those little balls?
Is it really a ball of paint?
Yeah. It is like
they were. You could see them in the little.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a clear cage on it.
Yeah. So they're like double the size of a BB.
I had a BB gun. I never had a paintball gun.
I didn't either. I knew people that did. But
I've never been paintballing.
People would go
I don't know why I'm saying that.
Paintballing.
Cause I'm paintballing.
Oh, Tom Petty loved paintballing. But yes, he did. The army base next to me had a paintball course.
Oh, I was like, where is this going?
We'd sneak on. One time they were running drills.
I was like, you paintballed an army base? No, that isn't
it was sick.
God, could you?
Fuck you.
You little young Republicans club, and you're all like anarchists.
Yeah, we're exactly. I don't think you guys know your ideologies at all.
Oh, I'm sorry you grew up a conservative, but I'm proud
right.
of who you've become.
I was gonna say the conservatives would not be paintballing the armed troops. We'd be going to counter terrorist the paintballers.
Well, and I don't think even liberals don't attack our military.
Right? Yeah, I don't think most people aren't. Just saying, like conservatives least of all.
My favorite thing to say in high school was, I can support the troops and not support the war.
Yeah. My favorite line about that is Hannibal's from Eric Andre's show. It's like you can support the troops as a concept, but not individuals. It's like, I support the troops, but you're an asshole.
Yeah. Well, or even just like the reason why they're following those orders I don't support.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Why are you out there?
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, American imperialism, which is, hey, something this episode's tried to deal with.
Poorly. It deals with it poorly. So then, Veronica's like, okay, I'm going to keep looking into this for you. She gets details from the back of the truck that it was someone's middle school or is an honor student at insert school name here.
Yeah, I missed the school name too. But the other important detail from this scene is the American flags and shit that they show in Babylon Gardens of them trying to assimilate. Supposedly is hey, we're trying to communicate how good of Americans these restaurant owners are, and there's pictures and shit of all kinds of U.S. memorabilia everywhere.
I didn't even see all the memorabilia. I was distracted by the talking.
Oh yeah, he picks up a flag and waves a flag and talks about and he has some line about goddamn Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Mm-hmm.
Which it would be different if he's I'm doing this to cover, but then when he's like, yes, I love America over everything, it becomes very different.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's not interesting. It's just weird. So then we cut to Mars' household. Or no, we cut to the station.
Mars' household.
Keith, Papa Mars, Mr. Mars. He's mad about this kid getting hit by a car being drunk because he was only 19. Mm-hmm. So this is where this episode also becomes an after-school special about alcohol.
Absolutely. And this is the other part where I was wrong. Remember how I talked up Keith being sheriff last week?
And I was like, I don't remember this being good.
He's fucking the worst. He's a narc.
He's a narc.
It's such a waste of fucking time.
It's like they threw away whoever had written Keith's role prior to this and was like, you know what? Like, let's try someone new.
He wouldn't be surprised that kids are underage drinking. No. And he's like fucking shocked.
Well, he's shocked that the bars are allowing it.
But like he wouldn't, Keith is not naive enough to think that there aren't like underage bars, like, or bars that are allowing college kids to like come with like very little oversight.
Especially in a town that's filled with rich kids.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this weird thing of him being like super moralistic.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna ask all the officers to go do sweeps at the bars and like ID everyone there.
Such a fucking goddamn waste of time. Would have turned it into a police state where we have to like come through and check everybody's IDs.
And Veronica's like, yeah, the bars are pretty lax over there. They are in fact very easy to enter. Yes. Not that I would know.
The main bar, yeah, and then he's like shocked at that. And the main bar is the break, but you know the kids call it the cake because they don't ID.
And then he's saying how they get like buckets of beers. So she's like, the only bucket I get is either original or crispy.
Very good.
It was a very good line.
Yeah, I like that one. God damn it, Keith.
I do kind of
suck this episode.
I kind of want KFC now.
Yeah, I would love fried chicken. But yeah, like this is a waste of taxpayer money. Go do like actual police things and not like try and police like kids getting drunk.
Yeah, or like just be like, hey, I'm gonna be your bouncer for a night, and then like count the fake IDs. Like, is this like really a problem, or is it like a casual problem?
Yeah. Is it actually being a problem if these kids are underage drinking? Probably not. This seems like an outlier.
It is. Yeah. Is there actually anything to support like how many other kids have gotten hit by cars?
Right.
Regardless. Whatever. That was the least of my out of all of the things I was mad about in this episode, that's probably the bottom.
It is the very bottom, and it's just still very annoying. It's just like, God damn it, we're back to Keith. I'm just as frustrated as the rest of this police station. Because it does the thing of making the cops good where they've always been the antagonists. So we'll get more into that, but it's just like we're firmly on the side of the police now in this, and it's insufferable. Whereas Lamb was always a thorn in the side.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut back over to Veronica, and she goes to the middle school to do a little presentation about what she does, what she is, how she's debating going into the FBI and studies criminology. And I'm like, yeah, she should have come and talked to my school.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would have been like, excuse me, will you adopt me, Miss Lady?
How old are you again?
I love my mom, but like, can I come with you?
You seem cool.
You seem cool. I'd like to learn crime.
Yep.
Hey, how to identify it, not how to do it.
Kristen Bell, the offer's still open.
Oh yeah, Kristen Bell, you can adopt me.
Yeah.
I would go.
Yeah.
My mom would understand.
She totally would. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. You know what? Invite him for dinner.
As long as you still come visit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then Jim and Dax are sober. Like, it's perfect. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
So, whatever. I'm down. But she goes to the school, she does a little presentation, and she starts polling the kids to figure out who owns, like, a BB gun and a pellet gun. And then who owns a paintball gun. And then whose family owns a yellow truck. And then the only kid whose family, the kid raises his hand, is a Middle Eastern looking child.
And she is shocked and is like, how could this be?
Whoa. And then we're like, oh no, what a twist.
Yeah.
Actually, some of us are just like, I don't want to know. Like, if I could just close my eyes.
Just drop it now. Drop it now.
Veronica goes to the house. She finds out that that kid has an older sibling who's a teenager, and they are paintballing. They are just going around paintballing stores. Anyone and everyone. They paintball teachers. They're like, yeah, we didn't go after them because they're Middle Eastern. Like, we just go and paintball everybody. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I knew kids who did that with water balloons, so I'm not surprised.
Water balloons and paintballs are two very different processes.
Things. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's like kids who are just being idiots, right?
Yeah.
But she singles this kid out and starts chewing him out for like, oh, it's like self-hate in your case. And like going after that, he's like performing some sort of like hate crime against Babylon Gardens when there's 2 other white kids in the room.
Yeah, maybe his white friends were the ones that made the choices.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
She does make them go clean Babylon Gardens, which I do appreciate that because you paintball it, you clean it.
Totally. Yeah. Go back.
And
but like,
who
the fuck are you to like come in and tell this kid how he should behave, like according to his race?
An after school special through and through.
Yeah.
We get a scene of the dad asking Veronica. He's like, "Are you sure these aren't the people that graffitied?" And she's like, "Oh no, they just paintball."
Mm-hmm. On the tape, we do get a Mr. Clemens cameo when he's getting shot up by these kids.
Yes, we do get a Mr. Clemens.
I was like, "Oh hi, it's Mr. Clemens."
Then Veronica sets up a camera in front of that store as well, so she can keep an eye on it. We cut over to Logan and Dick. They're prepping for the party. And Dick's like, I'm going to invite these 2 girls I met on MySpace.
Yep.
And I can't pick which one I'm going to invite, so I'm going to invite them both.
Mm-hmm.
And
always great.
This, to me, was so many things. One, I deleted my MySpace. You can't find it. Like, there's no way to find. But, like, I wish...
Did they delete them after a while? I'm trying to remember. We might have actually talked about it on this podcast, but it's been a while.
I kind of wished I hadn't. I was being bullied, and I was just tired of dealing with the person, and I was like, I can just delete this.
Yeah, I can just walk away.
You go away. You can come find me, and that's fine. No, I was... have you met... Do you think about me with, like, half the muscle I have now?
Oh, okay.
That was me at 14.
Stamina, though, because you did dance.
Yeah. Stamina, but, like, what am I doing?
Wear them out.
I'm just going to run?
Dive and dodge.
Oh.
Just dodging them.
You think I can do that?
Yeah, sure. This is coming from someone who does not know anything about fighting. So
we did take a Rumble class once.
Yeah, exactly, just like that.
But I hadn't taken Rumble yet. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I did delete it, and I, in hindsight, wish I had not, because I would love to see like what those like messages and comments and like the weird fucking shit and like what song I'd left it on. I changed my song. Remember when you finally were able to put more than one song on your MySpace?
It was cool as shit.
I would also always try to put a song, like if I liked a boy, like I'd use one of the songs off his page on mine, but like further down the list, because I knew that when people look for things that are similar, you know, they're like, oh, she's cool. She likes the music I like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart.
Or like if a guy told me about a song, I'd like put it on my list. That way they like knew I was like, see, I listened. Except sometimes I just did that because I liked the song, and then I was like, oh God, what signal am I sending?
Right. So then it works backwards in your anxiety head.
Exactly. It got very complicated for someone who could have just said, hey, I like you.
Yep.
Except that I terrified boys.
Well, not the other way around.
I don't feel like it would have been good for any of them. But yeah, so I do wish I could see my old MySpace. But Dick's inviting 2 girls from MySpace. And we're like, okay, never go to a party from a stranger you meet on the internet.
No, bad. I
mean, at least now you can kind of like search them, but like then, like you really didn't know.
But even the way they, I know how it ends up, but even still, they shouldn't have like gone to this party. Bad.
Well, Yeah, it depends, like, if they had known him. You know what I mean? Like, do they know
Right.
of him?
Uh-huh. At least familiar with Richard Casablancas.
Or, like, do they know Logan? You know?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
There's a weird detail we'll get to later that the show kind of hints at. And it's just like, yeah, who the fuck are all these people?
it is great. So then we cut over to the police station, and Keith is like, hey, that's funny that all of you all went out to raid these bars and there were no arrests on a Saturday night or whatever. And they're like, yeah, man, wild.
This is a real, like, we're gonna keep running drills until one of you fesses up as like part of like a sports team in high school. We'll keep doing it.
I do understand for Keith that it's like, you didn't follow my instruction. And so, but I don't think he gave a good instruction.
No.
Let me put it that way. So, like, I don't agree with Keith, but I also am like, I get why he's like, that's weird. That's
yeah, exactly.
suspicious.
Then starts sending off a flare in his head.
Also, you would think for the sake of these bars that, like, they'd be liable for, like, these underage kids, like, if they get hurt within the bars. That,
yeah,
like, they
absolutely.
wouldn't be doing this, but I digress.
So I feel like that's, like, punishment enough is probably, like, these kids' parents, like, suing this bar into oblivion.
Yeah, yeah. So now,
or be it them or the police holding this bar responsible for this kid getting drunk.
Yeah.
Rather than, why do they have to come in and that is an extremely good point I didn't think about now. Why are they coming in and trying to get evidence? This kid was 19 and drank at a bar. That's all you need. Go.
with a really shitty fake ID.
Fucking, you've got everything you need. Why do you need to like set up sting operations?
I think Keith at one point mentioned that this has happened to other kids, or like there's been a bunch of other like drunk kids.
Right. But you got the bar.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
The man is letting children drink underage.
Yeah.
You can just
don't need
arrest him.
You don't need to find more smoking guns.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go to a scene that is going to make me. I have to stop playing with my hair because I'm going to pull my hair out. It's going to... It hurt my feelings.
Yeah, this is bad.
Scene hurts my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Almost more than I... Because I knew this was coming after the Valentine's Day episode.
Totally.
My dearly beloved character, Mac, is a spineless jellyfish.
Yeah. I felt like we lost a friend in this scene.
We lost more than one friend. We've lost many friends, just in general.
Right. There you go.
So
there's a time when, you realize, hey, maybe I don't need to be hanging out with this person.
Exactly. So what happens? By us, I mean Veronica and Mac. We're at the cafeteria table and we're sitting there eating. And Veronica's like, why are you so zony and tired? And Mac's like, I got up early with Bronson and went on a hike. And Veronica's like, that's not very you. Foreshadowing. I think. I don't actually, that's not confirmed until later, but
it's very strongly hinted at in this episode for sure. The ending.
But I think it continues in the future.
Yes.
So then Mac's like, they're talking, and then she's like, you know what? Like, we should probably offer them, and points to Parker and Logan, our table, like, if you're done. Logan.
What the fuck you doing?
Logan and Parker come over because Mac signals them over. And Logan and Mac have a tete-a-tete. What was I?
Tete-a-tete.
Yeah, they just have like a little verbal ping pong, if you will.
Yeah.
They have like a cutesy little sibling-esque conversation. Oh, remember how we went to high school together and you tried to humiliate me? Like, these aren't cute.
Well, no, she's quoting, she's all that.
But it's just, why are we, it's not cute.
No.
We're not cute.
We're not friends.
We're not friends. They have like this cute little like moment together, and Parker's like, stop it. my mean girl just came out.
No, pretty much. Because Veronica's just sitting there, just like hands in her pockets, like head down.
You're
like,
I'm going to go.
Right, what the fuck am I doing here?
And then Parker's like, but you're going to come to my party, right? No! The answer is no. I am not coming to your party. This is not a Taylor Swift song. I'm not showing up at your party.
This is, fucking bad. Don't. Why would you do that? You gotta know how mean that is.
That's so mean.
It's fucking so mean.
So mean.
It's so brutal.
It's so mean. And for Max, she's like, then like her and Veronica are walking away, and she's like, Logan's actually pretty nice. I get to see the side of him you must have been seeing all the time.
But it's like she says that to Veronica as if like accusing Veronica of a crime.
Yeah, it's like, I see. Maybe you shouldn't have hit him away.
Yeah, it's almost like you fucked this up.
Or like, wow, he's a different person for her.
What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
And then this like strong arms her into like coming.
She's like, so you have to go to the party, right?
Right, like what the fuck?
And Veronica's like, I guess.
Jesus.
And she's like, okay, Mac, but then like I'll come by with you and you can like smack me over the head and then we'll go to the party. And Mac's like, oh, I told them I'd help them set up. Why? Logan can hire help.
I know.
What are they setting up for? It's a party in a hotel room.
Right. Mac, what the fuck are you doing? Worst friend.
Yeah, Mac, you are on my shit list.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you are young, but you are dumb and I hate it.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we have to stand behind you.
No. I did horrible things at 18, I'm sure, too, but
totally
not to a friend as good as Veronica.
There you go.
I wouldn't have done that to my close friends.
That's bad.
You know the friend who had to watch my ex-boyfriend jump off the top of a building? With the guy that's now dating my roommate? I am angry. Because I don't know if they're trying to insinuate it's like, oh, then was Veronica and Logan's relationship all just trauma bonding?
They're not saying it.
Or is it just like,
it?
Oh, am I pretending to be a better boyfriend to her because I can't have you?
I think he has
to prove it to himself that he could be a good boyfriend.
Exactly. But he turned over this new leaf, right? Of like feeling good, but he's doing all these things of like trying to go above and beyond to be the good boyfriend for Parker, is how I read it. But he's also, when his scenes with Veronica, it's like he also has to prove to her how fucking good he is.
Yeah,
because
like,
it's
look
her
how
fault.
Good I'm doing.
Because it's like her fault for them not being together.
And it's like, no, you fucked Madison Sinclair.
Yeah, and you were emotionally unavailable before that.
Yeah. So then Veronica goes to find the boys. Enter Piz and Wallace.
Yes, and we cheer.
We do. Veronica's like, hey, I've got a party for you guys to come with me to. And Wallace is like, okay, what's the catch? And she's like, there's no catch. And he's like, I can come. And he's like, but I know Piz. And Piz is like, no, I can come. Because he thinks Veronica's pretty.
Yep. Sun shines out of her ass.
And so then they agree to come. Wallace and Piz go into their room while Veronica goes off to do other things. And Wallace goes, I thought you were going to Yo-Yo Taco.
Fantastic.
And Piz is like, nah, it's cool. Like, you know what? I'm gonna do this instead. And Wallace is like, you know, you gotta maybe like try to get with a girl who knows you're alive, which is tough love.
Yeah, exactly. And I get it from like Wallace's side, because it's I know Veronica, and Veronica doesn't like hide her feelings about these things. So it's like, you're barking up the wrong tree, dude, and you need to like, let's try and like distract you or like move you on away from Veronica. Because
Veronica obviously is not interested in my perspective. And it's so obvious to me that you like her that Veronica must have noticed.
Right.
It couldn't be the fact that maybe Veronica didn't notice because she was so obsessed with Logan and her relationship that she couldn't possibly see anything in any other way.
Right.
Which is a little bit of a boy oversight.
Yeah, exactly. But I do like Wallace at the end of just being tough love too.
I think when he calls her out on it, that's when it changes for her.
It does.
Because then I think that makes more sense. Because I would have been the same way. I mean, like, there are people that I was like, maybe they like me, but also like they're just nice. And then I had friends that I was like, you are intentionally fucking with this person that likes you because they give you free things.
Exactly. And it's not quite there, but like he has to, like, he tells her of like, hey, you're just not paying attention pretty much. So like, hey, here's what it's happening. You need to let him down and not like try and make him do things for you. Like, or just like mind that relationship going forward.
But we'll get to that. So first, Veronica, she had checked the security footage from in front of the restaurant, and she saw that a guy was standing out there wearing a Smeed jersey.
Speed Batman.
Smeed, right?
Speed.
I thought it was Smeed, Smeed. Like Smeed, because isn't it Smeed Hall?
Oh, I thought it was Speed.
She finds a boy who's a Smeed boy. That's why I was like,
There you go. You're probably right.
He's number 7 on the team. And she's like, hey, number 11, he's pretty cute. Like, can you tell me who he is? And he's like, yeah, he is this boy. His name I did not write now.
Joe.
We are on this Smeed boys softball team that's named after our dorm building. And this boy is Jewish, and he lives at the fictional version of A.E. Pie that I could not remember the letters for, so I wrote fake A.E. Pie.
Yeah, perfect.
Veronica goes to said fraternity to go find boy. While she's there, she sees the flash of a camera as she's driving up, and she sees a man taking photos in a tree. He comes down the tree, he jumps on the bike, and he goes away. Veronica walks up to the door, and door opens, and it's our friend Amira and her boyfriend who is in this Jewish fraternity.
Joe.
And I'm like, okay, I've been in a handful of frat houses. To get from an upstairs location to a downstairs location that quickly, one, impossible.
It seemed like the stairs were immediately behind them.
2, they're not wearing shoes in a frat house.
Hey, but they were doing things in Joe's room. So, I don't know, what they're into, but they might not wear shoes.
Unlike us, we always wear shoes.
Exactly. Why wear cleats?
Oh, God, that's awful. I hate it. Oh my God. Oh, okay. I was like, you rapped. Brenton was wrapped in a cord.
In cords.
Oh, did you roll over my computer charger? He's okay. Everyone's okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Apologies to the computer charger.
It's okay. Anyway, and there she's like, Veronica, that guy is Amir.
Nasir.
Nasir.
She's Amira. He's Nasir.
You're right. I was looking at the wrong name and I left off a letter. And
oh, sorry. His name's Jason, not Joe.
Who's on first? I was like, I don't remember anyone's name being Joe, but like I didn't write down the boy in the frat because I was like, I don't think he comes up very often.
Yeah, Jason.
She's like, hey, he's employed, and Nasir's employed by my father, and allegedly, like, I'm supposed to like be betrothed to him at some point. And he took photos of me with Jason, and if my father finds out, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And Veronica's like, oh, because you were doing the sexy time. And she's like, no, not because I was doing the sexy time, but because my father will be mad that I am dating a Jewish boy. What?
Yep. Horrible fucking
it's just
Palestinian
awful.
stereotypes.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And
we immediately bring in an Israel Palestine subtext that wasn't there before.
Yeah, I'm like, excuse me. I thought this was a show about a girl and her dad and their dog named Backup and this boy who sucks and her friends who suck. And now we've got the case of the week and it sucks.
Yeah, you can't handle this one, guys. When you're telling it from the perspective of the Palestinians are wrong.
Yeah. It's not good.
Yeah, the Jewish kid obviously has no fucking pretensions about this. Oh, it's bad,
Yeah.
and especially when they get to it later too.
Oh,
So,
it's evil. It just gets worse.
yeah.
I would say that maybe they did not have the correct writing team to address this issue,
No.
and maybe it wasn't their issue to address.
Not at all. Not at all.
It is one thing to acknowledge an issue and to be like, hey, this is a thing that's happening. How can I put it into context? And it's another thing to fictionalize it into a narrative that serves you as the creator and not the story itself.
Absolutely. It's like we want to tell Middle Easterns how to live in this country and behave themselves. That's exactly what this episode is.
It's so fucked up. So anyway, Veronica's like, well, you know what? I can go try to get to wherever he's going and try to get the photos. So she does that. She goes there. She finds out that he had dropped off the photos inside. So she goes up to the guy at the photo counter and she's like, hey, like my boyfriend over there, he's real nervous about picking these up because we took some funny party pictures of our friends doing silly things, you know, a little inappropriate. And so I want to grab him. And the guy's like, you're dating him? And I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
This is the most believable thing of this aspect, though, that the white...
That the white guy working at the photo center is like, you're dating a Middle Eastern man?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's, even then, I'm just like, what? Like,
right, it's played for humor.
What narrative are we trying to tell here?
Right.
We aren't. That's the problem.
Exactly.
They
we want to have it. We want to have it both ways.
We want to have it.
We want to say that we're open-minded, and yet demoralize how people should conduct themselves.
We're open-minded,
not
but like
white people.
You have to do it our way.
Totally.
Anyway, so she convinces the guy to give her the photos. And then she leaves. Nasir then goes to get the photos, and the guy's like, no. Your girlfriend just picked him up. And he's like, she's not my girlfriend. He's like, well, it's okay. I still have like the one that it jammed on. I still have like a couple of those, so I can give you like the copies of those photos. And so then we cut over to Wallace and Piss. They're having a boys' night. They out at the bar.
Wallace is like, you need to not think about Veronica.
Let's go get you a new lady. You know, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else.
Yeah. Right. Whoa.
That's what I always tell people. No, it's not good advice.
Don't
take that advice. Anyway, they're at the bar and there's a woman playing pool, and Wallace is like, I'm gonna go hit on her, and Piss is like, I thought we were going out for me, and Wallace is like, well, until I saw her, and so Piss is like, nah, it's my turn, and you're like, poor Piss, like, had to fight Wallace, who made you go out to do this from the first place.
Wallace smiling.
Yeah, he set him up.
He's like, I got him.
Anyway, so then Piz goes over to the woman and he goes, I will bet you $20 that you will whip my ass. And I'm like, I love a confident man.
Yeah, that is a very good way to do that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm really bad at pool. Let me hit on you.
Exactly.
So, Veronica had rushed over to our friend Amir's dorm. I almost said house, but it's her dorm. It's weird to me how many people are living in the dorms in this when they live in this town, but I digress. It doesn't matter.
Totally.
And she's like, here, I have the photos, and she's like, oh, thank God. But then the dad shows up, and he's like, well, what's this photo? And it's half of the photo of her with the guy from the Jewish fraternity. And he's like, Nasir told me that you were at a Jewish fraternity when you took this, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. Did we mention that Nasir and Amira were in an arranged marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I said that they were meant to be betrothed.
Right. Perfect.
He was like, he's very anti-Semitic and it's very problematic.
Yeah, and Rashad is just like, oh, this is the reason we're being attacked, is because they found out that, like, someone found out that you're dating a Jewish guy, so, like, hell's opening up and the Americans are attacking us.
And Veronica's like, who exactly is attacking you? Which is a great question to ask, but it's a stupid situation to have created.
Right, exactly. Just having Rashad come in and vocalize this is fucking bad.
He then tries to fire Veronica on the spot, and she's like, I work for your wife, which I did love that.
Yep, that is very good.
It's a great way to respond to a misogynist. It's just unfortunate that they painted this character as a misogynist.
Exactly, because that's a stereotype.
Then we cut over to the bar. Keith is at the bar. He's talking to the owner, and he's like, "Hey, man, so why are you letting kids in?" And the guy's like, "Me and Sheriff Lamb, we used to have a little dealio where I'd buy like 10 of those sheriff department raffle tickets."
This dive bar is somehow like scratching the back of the entire police station. Like, what the fuck is this? Paying for softball uniforms?
He's like, "I buy the team softball uniforms. I do this. I do that." He's like, "So what's it gonna be?"
All for like the worst. That is like the worst business model.
To let children drink in your bar.
God, it blows up the fucking underage drinking problem to like some like it's like almost like prohibition era, like bootlegging, like drug running, like sort of shit. And it's just like kids just get drunk in college.
It's so fucking weird. And then Keith is like, I don't want your money. He walks out of the back room after talking with the guy, and he spots at the counter Wallace and Piz.
I do think this is good.
Yeah, I love this.
I think having them get caught is great.
Yeah, because then Keith walks up, and that'd be a great way to be like, "Hey, underage drinking is bad. Like, it's risky. Don't get caught."
Or just like busting their chops. That's what Keith would normally do.
Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, can I see your ID? Because Wallace, when I last saw you, you were 19, and that was a couple weeks ago." Keith sees the IDs. He's like, "Hey, these are really well done. Yeah. I don't have to ask you where you got these."
And he calls Piz Stosh, and he only calls him Stosh, and it drove me nuts.
Did you look up why?
No, that's like his last name.
Oh,
right. It's something. I think it's like I forget why he calls him
Pistachio.
Yeah, it's like God, no, I need to find that real quick of like what his full name is, but it like drove me nuts.
Yeah, and so then we
his first name's Stosh, and it's just like, why are we calling him Stosh?
Then scene ends. Boys go home. Whatever. They make plans to hang out with girl again.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica wakes up in the morning the next day. She finds 2 IDs, one for Wallace, one for Piz, taped to the refrigerator. And Keith is like, "Hey, I saw a lot of fake IDs last night, and none of them could hold a candle to these 2. He's like, "I didn't need to ask where these 2 came from." And she's like, "Yep. Well,
turns into an after-school special.
These are legit." And he's like, "You need to be careful because like your decisions can hurt other people, and they could get hurt, and people could get hurt."
It's like, yeah, kids are idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's just this afternoon special of just like after school. After school. Yeah, well, it's not the afternoon. It's fucking 8 a.m. It's too early for this shit. Save it till 4 or 3
Dad,
o'clock.
if you're gonna lecture me about drinking, you have to wait until I've had one.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck is this? Oh, it's awful. Just like, you kids. It's pretty much saying like, you kids think you're invincible.
Veronica gets a phone call though. The restaurant had been vandalized again. She goes over. She finds out that someone did, in fact, steal the decor that they had in front. It was like a scroll.
Mm-hmm.
And she had put a tracker on it. So then she follows the tracker. She follows it to a trash can. And then she sees a guy with a big pickup truck or van or something.
Yeah.
Pull up. He's what you would call a redneck.
Mm-hmm.
Or a hick.
Yeah. Full fucking decked out like camo and America.
Very much played up as a low-income white man being white trash.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Derek.
His name's Derek Carr, which is the name of the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
And Derek, Veronica's like, "Hey, why did you do this?" And he's like, "Let me show you why." And then he lets his brother out of the back of the car, and his brother is in a wheelchair because he got hurt in Iraq, and his brother, we find out, had gone to the Middle East with the U.S. military.
Uh-huh.
The brother, who is the veteran, who is the injured party, the one who was actually hurt by this physically, did not know that his brother was going around tagging restaurants of, I assume, many ethnicities, but I have no idea.
Well, no, he specifically targets this one.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, you're right. But, and the brother's like, hey, like, I didn't know you were doing this. And Derek is like, no, but the guy who works there handed me this piece of anti-American propaganda.
This is a shitty political cartoon.
Yeah, it's a really weird political cartoon. And we figured out that Nasir had handed it to him outside of the mall.
Yeah.
And
yeah, this scene, okay, sure. This fucking prejudiced ass white dude
and
gets
to
mad.
not paint the veteran as the bad guy. I appreciated that.
Sure.
Like, oh, like this guy, you know, like he didn't know that his brother is reacting with this kind of vitriol to what happened to him. That's fine.
Yeah. It's the payoff later that just fucking...
Veronica then goes to go tell the family that own the restaurant about this man. And Rashad is like, you know what? I don't want to press charges. I want to meet the boy. Why?
Yeah.
Press charges.
Well, it's because we want to fucking say, look at them taking the high road.
Yeah, but
aren't they fucking great examples of people that should be in this country? They deserve to be here. Because they are fucking just on this like other moral superiority. Look at how good they exemplify American ideals.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross.
Yeah. And when they're framed only as being like good patriotic people, that the fact that like someone can like still have a right to live in this country and not be this like perfect flag
proud
wearing
American.
Yeah, they could just be a regular fucking person and have like regular misgivings about how awful this country is. And that's perfectly fine. But like not according to the show.
I would love to hear like someone who grew up in like a European countries like take on this.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
Because
interesting.
it'd be really, especially this episode, it'd be really interesting because it's like when people find out that it's like, yeah, they make you say the flag salute every morning in school and like you do like all these like really specific things and they're like,
yeah, what the fuck's going on in your country?
Are you guys good?
You're saying North Korea is brainwashed?
Yeah. You guys got freedom, but you don't.
Right,
But so we take a pause there and then we go, Keith knocks on the dorm room of Piz and Wallace and he's like, hey boys, I need to borrow you two. I have some new fake IDs for you. These are intentionally shitty made. What was Piz's said that he was
6'2" or something?
No, but it was a famous person.
Oh, yeah, I missed it because I only remembered Wallace's.
And then Wallace's was
Biggie.
And he's like, Mr. Mars, we don't all look the same. And we're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith is like, I'm intentionally giving you these shitty IDs that aren't you so that you can pretend to, or so that you can go to these bars and order alcohol-free beer and then hold a walkie-talkie for me so I can find out if my cops are not actually doing the bar searches.
There's a million other things you can be doing.
So then they do that. They're in the bar. They're drinking their alcohol-free beer. And the cop comes in. He's like, hey, everybody IDs up so I can ID you all. Everyone puts their ID up. He walks around. He looks at all of them, like not even looking at them. And then he's like, okay, goodbye. Keith hears it on the walkie-talkie. And then he fires all the cops that didn't do their jobs.
Yep.
Which is like, whatever. You didn't follow orders. Yeah, you have every reason to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to hang out with you at a party, Keith? No.
Yeah.
Do I think you did your job? Yeah.
In this specific scene, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think this entire episode is a waste of your time? Yes. This is the biggest, actually. Hey, here you go. If this is what cops are spending their time doing, maybe they need to be defunded.
Ooh.
But this is not what they're doing. When we're talking about defunding the police, it is about all the other militaristic ways that are using their budget.
Yeah.
And also that they are not actually helping their communities. They're instead just like cracking down on really poor income areas. And arresting people at an alarming rate instead of rather helping and fixing things because they're there to bust people. They're there, not there to fix things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is just an example of a strange scenario more so than a...
Right. It's just like it's a waste of time, and it's a very Christian moralistic one of I guess a view of like what cops should be doing to like prevent underage drinking, which is just like effective life.
Veronica now brings the family from Babylon Gardens, the restaurant, over to Derek Carr's house. They have an after-school special.
I never not think that it's the NFL quarterback, by the way, so it makes me laugh every single time.
I feel like, I wrote here, I feel like this scene in particular is so obviously written by white people.
Yes, because he both sides them.
Yes.
We both have reasons to be upset. It's like, no, I think I should have way more fucking reasons, Rashad, on my side of being mad than you do. I understand that you're upset that your brother like got injured at war. Like, that's fucking awful. But like, I didn't do that. Like my restaurant didn't do that. And the person who is like creating a political cartoon at my restaurant like had nothing to do that. They're voicing anger at like what your brother was doing in our country. So like, even if it was the country that we don't even know.
Well, yeah, we don't even know if he's from...
I made a leap there.
Yeah, we don't even know. They never identify anyone in particular's like culture or country in this.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that.
It is a blanket Middle Eastern. Well,
exactly.
It's almost
I fell into the trap.
Weirder.
I fell into the trap.
Yeah. No. And I think that's totally...
Yeah,
they
exactly.
led you to a spot.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, but there is no reason that it's like he should be turning the other cheek here, and then it's just like when it ends on that he slams the door on him and gets mad, and he's like, I don't think we'll be hearing
by
any
that
more.
We mean Derek slams the door on Rashad.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to have you tell me how we both have experienced hard things. I'm the victim.
Totally.
White man shit.
And I understand like him being grumpy and that reaction totally tracks. But then when the end of it is also like, I don't think we're going to be hearing from him anymore. Yes, we are. He's going to be online. He's going to be doing shit. Like, this guy is going to continue being racist. So like, we need to know that he's the clear villain in this and not like misunderstood.
Well, and once again, like they make it sound like this man is an anomaly when in fact, like,
yeah,
Hicks aren't the only racists, and not
absolutely not.
Obviously, not all Hicks are racist, but I don't even.
Yeah,
but like
that
you are not more likely to encounter a racist. Like, it literally depends on who you are and where you are. You're more likely to encounter one in Orange County, I would argue.
Absolutely.
Then, it's very problematic to make it sound like it's really easy to identify racists because they are Hicks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if we learned anything from the Capitol riots, that these people were like, these are business owners. Mm-hmm. Like, these people have like money.
Mm-hmm. They have purchasing power.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Veronica's like, okay, well, I'll call, and then Derek will be arrested because he's on probation for something. I don't remember what he did, something else, stole something or something. Mm-hmm. So he's already like not painted as a good person.
No.
And they're like, Rashad's like, no, it's okay. You know what? Like, we talked to him. We probably won't hear from him again, like you said, whatever. And he's like, now about Nasir. Technically, we've been hiding Nasir because his work visa expired.
Yeah.
But we are no longer going to do that. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's saying that they tipped off ICE or if it's saying that they just didn't. He had to go get a job somewhere else, so they saw that his visa was expired.
So he goes, like, but that cartoon really pissed me off. I will not shelter him anymore. Mm-hmm. And it looks like the way the scene is set up, because it jump cuts between that and then him being picked up by ICE, that makes me think that they tipped him off.
Got it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they fired him and then he like went to go get a new job and they saw his expired visa.
Yeah, you could probably make that you could assume that, but just the way the scenes are one immediately after the other, it made it seem like that to me.
Well, and I didn't know like if he was in their kitchen, like because we had never seen it, so it's...
yeah. It kind of looked like he was like solo back there too, which is another reason that I think it was Babylon Gardens still. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad, and that's such a giant fucking leap from we will no longer be supporting you, and also for the same reason you mentioned earlier, that it's like you could say we are no longer supporting you because you took pictures of our daughter.
Yeah.
but like
stalked our daughter and took pictures of her hooking up with her boyfriend.
We will help you get back home. We're not going to put you into the custody of federal agents because we fucking know in this day and age what that fucking looks like.
Mm-hmm. It's fucked up. So then, we're, our after school special on racial equality is over.
Yeah.
It's not, and it was not helpful at all, but we can, at least it's over for us.
And, oh my God, it is the Billy Madison speech of, where it's like, what you just said, like, was the most, like, incoherent, like, unintelligible thing, and we're all stupider for having heard it.
I feel that way. So then we cut to Veronica and her dad, and she's like, Dad, you know what? I'm sorry about the IDs. I should be more careful. I promise to only use the Mars family powers for good. And he's like, oh, that's good. Thanks, sweetie. I was just worried, I don't want kids getting hit by cars and dying.
Yeah, me either.
He's like, by the way, Wallace and Piz called and they're going to meet you at the party. And she's like, they said those motherfuckers. Wallace just lost his best friend card. We're running out of friends and fast.
We are.
And so then,
so they were not invited beforehand, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
It seemed weird.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
I feel like they would have been invited.
Totally.
I think she's just like, you're coming with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can see them beforehand being, Wallace, like, I was invited, but I'm not going to go to this. Like, why would I go to this?
Yeah, and now they're like, oh, we're going because you want us to. But they went without her because they were going with the girl that they met playing pool.
Right. Great job, fellas.
So then Veronica goes to the party. She gets in the elevator. Dick is there. Dick is like, hey, like, you came. And Veronica's like, yeah, like, they asked me to. And he's like, oh, like, whatever. His pants are unzipped. And he's drinking out of a flask. Veronica's like, give it here. She wipes off the mouth of the flask. Yeah. And then she drinks some too. And he's like, are we becoming friends now? And we're like, no. But, what a weird duo.
Totally. And I did mention this to you when we watched it. I'm like, you should not drink out of that because Dick seems like the type of guy that would dose himself. So, like, you don't know what's in that, like, flask.
She gets there. Matt comes up to her and she's like, hey, you good? And she's like, why are you aggressively coming towards me? And Mac's like, oh, good. Dick walked away. She's like, I thought maybe you were, like, trying to get back at Logan by getting with Dick. And she's like, yes, the best way to show someone you're doing better is by downgrading. I'm like, yeah, why?
Great. But also, Mac, you are again blaming Veronica for things that
she
are not
didn't.
her fault.
Yeah, she's not her fault. They go over to the couch. They're going to chill. But then she sees the boys. And she's like, Mac, sit here. I'm going to go yell at the boys. She goes over to them and...
Oh, wait, before then. They're sitting there. Max walks over. And Max, our good friend who steals tests and was, like, involved with the sex worker, like, comes over. And I'm like, who invited him?
Logan. Remember, he hung out there. He's cried on that couch.
I know, but Logan hated him.
Logan, that was old Logan.
Okay, so Logan loves Max now. Okay.
I mean, Logan just wanted to have a party.
Right.
So then, Veronica's like, excuse me, Piz and Wallace, why did you ditch me? And then she sees the girl, and so they introduce her, and she's like, oh, cool, but like, there's still one more of you. Like, we could have made a foursome.
Yep.
She doesn't say that, but I was like, you.
Yes, as friends.
Like, it's like, Wallace, if you wanted Piz to get with this girl, then you say, Piz, you take her, and I'm going to go pick up Veronica.
Yeah, he's focused way too much on Piz. No one is thinking about Veronica's feelings. You know what I wrote down after this?
What?
Keith, come bust this party. if you're gonna be getting involved in underage drinking.
Then Logan calls everyone's attention, and he had gotten Parker a giant cake with a picture of the two of them on it.
And Parker is blown away by this.
How nice. A boy got me a birthday cake.
We would be laughing together if we did this. It would not be like sincere of like, oh my God.
If you got a cake with both of our faces on it for my birthday,
It'd be fucking beautiful.
I would cry laughing. You know what would be even
Especially
funnier?
showing off to all our friends, like, look at what I did. Look at what I did.
What if you got a cake for my birthday that had like you and Herman on it, like you and the
Exactly.
dog, and it's like not me at all, or like I'm like cut out,
Yeah, exactly. It's like the side of your head.
or like a family photo. Yeah, just like the whole fucking family's on the cake, and like, everyone eat their own head. Oh, that sounds fun.
Too goddamn cheesy, Logan. This is awful. I cried laughing.
I did have a moment where I was like, are they going to reveal the cake, and is it going to say Veronica instead of Parker?
Nope, the opposite. Veronica gets a slice of Logan's face.
Uh-huh.
Fucking Parker's 4-dimensional chest on bullying Veronica.
Yeah, and then Parker's like, hey, like, so glad you came. You're such a class act. And I'm the whole time I wrote, I hate Logan. I hate this. Parker, how fucking dare you?
Mm-hmm. There's a league bit. Weird that I'm referencing the league, but here I am.
It's been like 5 years since I've even thought about that
Just
show.
been before we were dating. But there's a bit, and I think it's in the first season, where they talk about the different racially coded ways that they talk about like players, and they specifically call out like, oh, he's a class act, as like talking about like a black player that's like good.
Oh my god. Yeah. Parker's like, you're such a class act, and I immediately had a moment where I just fucking lost it.
And even before, Parker hands her a slice of cake and it has Logan's face on it.
So remember where we are. We're in the Neptune Grand. We're in this hotel room. This hotel room houses Logan, who Veronica dated for the last year, give or take. It also housed Logan and Duncan. Veronica has slept with multiple men in that master bedroom. Multiple men. Lovingly. Not, we're not slut shaming here. It doesn't matter how, how many she slept with. But this is Veronica's turf. As far as I'm concerned. I could not imagine going to a party at someone's house that I had dated and with their new girlfriend.
Yeah, this is like an ex's house practically.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah, really bad.
But it's Veronica's apartment. She literally fucked Duncan and Logan here. Like, this is my bed.
That's Veronica's suite.
We cut back over to Mac and Max, and they're hitting it off on the couch. Mac tells Max about pulling off the purity test and how Veronica caught her. Veronica looks over and sees them talking and is like, oh. Then she starts to talk to Logan. Logan comes up to her.
Yep. He's like, hey, I'm not contented. Do you see how good I'm doing?
Look how
Aren't you
good I am.
You're alone. Oh my God.
He's like, I was really hoping you would like show up with someone because then like I would feel fulfilled.
But yet I'm feeling so relieved that you're by yourself because that means I'm superior.
And she's like, hey, how did you find so many friends?
I fucking paid people off the street.
And says it seems like they're all Veronica's friends. Seems like these are all people Veronica knows. Well, for the party. Yeah. Especially if like Wallace and Piz hadn't technically been invited before Veronica.
Right, yeah. There's just a bunch of random people.
So yeah, he's like, man, I just like I wish you'd had a date that way. Like I would feel like you were doing good.
But I know you are because we're such good friends.
Yeah, if there's this. The older I get, the more the character of a high school or college age boy makes me want to knee them in the balls and just like walk away.
I understand.
Just like a quick knee, like nothing long term. But like there's because their egos don't hurt. Yeah. It's not like you can, and their heads are so big. It's the only option.
Yeah, no.
It makes me so angry.
Yeah. It's like we said, it's literally fucking mean.
And so then they continue to torture her. So Logan's like, well, there's lots of guys here.
Yeah, what?
Maybe we'll find you one at the party. And Veronica's like, Mac, we watch Mac and Max hit it off a little more. And then he sends over a guy that says, hey, I heard you were a great swing dancer and you love to swing dance. And Logan standing behind her like, yeah, like, see? Like, look, didn't I send a good one?
Yeah, isn't this fucking funny that I sent this to this guy to bother you?
I would literally kick him in the knee.
Yeah, what
like,
the fuck are you doing?
It's mean.
That's so
bullying.
mean.
Then we check in on our buddy Dick. So Dick, if we don't remember, he invited 2 ladies to this party that he met on MySpace. And he said he was just going to go back and forth between the 2. And then pick whichever one, whatever one wasn't down, he'd send away. And then he'd keep the one that was. But they both seemed like they were down. Mm-hmm. So then, as he goes through the night going back and forth between the 2, he finds out that they both are like, hey, like, isn't he pretty cute? And they start talking to each other. And he's like, oh, the girls are down to like, one dick, 2 ladies.
Oh no.
God.
Oh no. Just call it a threesome like an adult, please.
I meant like Dick himself.
I know.
I didn't mean to. I just walked into it. It's his name. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go get some ice. Question mark? Because he's going to get them drinks.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. He's getting ice for something.
He walks out of the room. He walks into the ice room that is like behind its own separate door. And then you see someone shove the stopper under the door. And you find out that the women knew each other. They were mutual friends on MySpace. They taught him a very important lesson. You should check if they're mutual friends with anyone else before you invite them to your party.
Yep.
And then the girls were like, we're going to go home together because we are friends. And Dick is left in a glass cage of ice and emotion.
Yep.
They lock him in. We love it. It's fine. Then we see Piz. He's hitting on the girl that they'd met at the bar. And Veronica runs over to him and he's like, hey, she's like, please pretend to be my boyfriend because I am the swing dancing.
Yep. This guy is like not leaving me alone.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important because Logan wouldn't believe her if she pretended to date Wallace.
No. Mm-mm.
You can't do this with Wallace because people know.
Right. Well, and it's not about Logan. It's about that guy.
Well, yeah, but I think also it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's partially like, okay, like, how do I make this really like clear? Like, no, thank you. Like,
right.
Please stop.
Yeah. And she would never do that to Wallace.
I mean, she would do it but it not in, like, it doesn't work for Logan. Like, it wouldn't, this scenario doesn't work out.
I guess so, but I just don't think there's anything that like Veronica would ever like do that because they're like brother sister.
So he's like, oh my God, like he plays into it, kisses her on the forehead, and then is like, let me go grab you a drink. And then Wallace pulls her aside and he's like, hey, stop being mean. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, Piz likes you. And you're just, like you just aren't, you obviously don't like him back, and like you need to just like tell him and like let him go so he can move on with his life. And Veronica's like, huh, interesting. But I truly think Wallace thought she knew, and I truly think Veronica didn't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. But and he still does the like, and he says like, you're not that stupid, but like really what he should have said is like, you may, like, I know if you think about this for 2 seconds, you would realize. Yeah,
like you're not so dense that you wouldn't catch on. Now that I've told you, you're not going to catch on.
Exactly, yeah.
And so then, and also like as we've talked about, Veronica hasn't been on her A game for the last couple episodes.
No, she's got a lot going on.
So then Piz comes back and she's like, hey, I need to talk to you. Let's go outside. And she's like, you're really nice to me and I feel really bad. I've been so self-absorbed with my own personal relationship drama that I didn't pick up on this, and like I don't want to like let you like, play yourself or like you like. And he leans in and kisses her, and Veronica stands there, and then he says to her, we're just friends. I get it. That's fine. Like I just, wanted to try.
Walks away.
He leaves. And I'm like, what is the male mind and the kiss and run? I could write a thesis on this.
Kind of shit like this.
The kiss and run is I wanted to do something, but I can't handle the fallout. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Well,
I'm afraid.
It's safeguarding, right?
Yep. Yeah, I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor boys. And then he leaves. He tells Wallace he's leaving. And Veronica follows in for a second, and she's like, Wallace, where'd Piz go? And he's like, oh, he's leaving. And so she runs out to the hall to grab him, and he's waiting for the elevator. And she goes, oh, you're leaving? And this scene, I love this scene. This
very
is cute.
cute.
This whole
Very
thing from
cute.
when they talk, like when Wallace is like, hey, when she's like, hey, rescue me. And he's like, yeah. And then Wallace is like, what are you doing? And then she's like, oh, shit. And he's like, yeah, I don't think the night could get any better from here. And we're like, aw, like he looks at that as like a nice you know what I mean? Like he's not being mean about her saying like, no, thank you. He's not being like, you know what? Like I had to kiss you because like you have to like me too. It was just like, no, like I've wanted to kiss you. I'm going to try to kiss you because Wallace has told me I need to be bolder. And
you have a right to say no.
And you have a right to say no. And you said no. You said we're just friends, and that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
I'm just gonna go.
Okay, I gotta go see Yo-Yo Taco.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a yo-yo taco.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, oh, you don't think the night could get any better? Like something cutesy back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they kiss. And then the elevator doors open, and who's standing in the elevator? Logan. You know, I spent a lot of my high school and college career like hoping for a moment like this. I just really wanted like someone who like had tried to hurt me to get hurt.
Yeah.
By me being happy.
Yeah.
Fuck all y'all. No, I'm kidding. At this point in my life, like I couldn't possibly like. There's no one to do that to.
Right. Yeah.
But like
in college, I understand.
Well, and just like high school too, because like they feed this to you. Though even then I doubt that was, but I was just like, oh, like it's one of those moments where you're just like, this hits me right in the spot. Just, yeah. Fuck you, Logan.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect bullet on the end of this episode.
So then I put my last note was sometimes you just need a seemingly shy boy to kiss you.
There you go. Aw.
That's what I say.
That's quite sweet.
Yes, you know. Having found my seemingly shy boy. Though not like shy, just shy about your feelings.
Yeah.
Feeling shy.
Feeling shy.
I wonder when Piz's birthday is. Do you think he's a Cancer?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's find out. But yeah, real fucking rough episode getting there.
And what we're being set up to with Mac and Max is the idea that like, what if she has feelings for a different guy and it's not Bronson?
Yeah.
Because Bronson likes to go hiking in the morning. And Mac and Max like to scam people.
There's no birthday listed. But would you like to know about that?
Is it because Bronson got a different job?
No. Max was always intended to be...
Max?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once they brought him on after that episode, he was intended to be a person for Mac.
But I mean, of course, like if you have a nerd, then you have to get another nerd, because how could you possibly have two people who were just like human beings like each other?
Right. And so the actor that plays Max, Adam Rose, and the actor that plays Bronson, Michael Mitchell, were roommates. And so the guy who plays Max, Adam Rose, gets a call to say that he's being the love interest for Mac. But he responded with, but I thought that's what my roommate was doing.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yep. And so this is the first episode after that 2-month hiatus I mentioned last time. And originally these shows, like way back, this was going to be the third arc of the season, which was just going to be the basketball coach storyline. But instead, they updated that to be now these last 5 episodes are more just cases of the week, and the serialized storytelling were just around Veronica's life, which I don't think is a bad decision. I think the decisions in this can be really fucking awful, except for the end of this. But I don't think it's a bad idea to move away from the like overarching mystery for these last 5. They wanted to do like a test to just see if this could work, because they had really low ratings on the CW. And there you go. And could be like some other way of like, hey, let's get some interest. Like, let's save this show from cancellation. As like an experiment. But yeah, that's, obviously it didn't work out, but I don't mind not having a wider mystery. The case of the week fucking blew, and same with a lot of the personal stuff, but I don't mind not having a mystery, if that makes sense. That is not what makes this episode bad. Not having that together. So, and I mean, they also pointed out that like they got a lot of flack for their like longer narrative stuff. So, and then supposedly during that 2-month hiatus, Rob Thomas came up for the idea for season 4. Would you like to know the idea for season 4?
I would love to know the idea for season 4.
It would take place at the FBI Academy.
Oh.
Which gets into something later, which we'll end the show on. But that of like his idea of like wanting to move away from Neptune, which seems like a really fucking bad idea. Like everybody's here, and there's a reason like that you want to like stay in this like town. It gives like a lot of like.
Are you saying that there's an additional character in this story?
It is,
and that there's the town of Neptune.
It just makes it harder if she's in fucking like Virginia. To like rope in like Keith and stuff like that. It just seems weird to like alienate her by like hundreds of miles.
And just separate her from Keith.
Totally. And it doesn't say here, but like would this have been like a flash forward of like 3 years, or would it did she like immediately go to the FBI Academy at the end of this? So suppose prior to this airing, Enrico Colatoni said that the CW had reacted negatively to the first 10 pages of like that like supposed script. And then Rob Thomas said, no, we haven't had a meeting yet. I'm going to be showing them on like this date. And apparently they confirmed that too. So that makes me think that they had seen it. And he's like, no, they haven't seen it. But like, he was probably showing them rewrites.
Yeah.
To try and save the show. But, obviously it didn't work. And I don't know how good of an idea that is, to be honest. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, I don't know. All I know is that any move in the Piz direction is a good move.
Exactly. But hey, we've gone long. But this was a fucking bad episode.
It was awful.
Yeah, a lot of bad things to unpack.
The only good part was the last few minutes.
Piznarski. Or Stosh, as.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not.
Okay.
Shall we plug?
Yes.
Well, when we're not yelling into these microphones about this, sometimes we yell into these microphones about other things that we researched on our other podcast. It's called But Really Though. Though is spelled THO. It's a podcast where we pick a subject each and we research it and then we tell it to each other. And usually it's like, it's a little like urban legendy, tall tale. Sometimes it's stuff we didn't learn in history that we're like, damn, we really missed out on this. And sometimes it's stuff we did learn in history, but they didn't give us all the details. You can find that podcast wherever you find this podcast. And like I said, it is But Really Though, and though is spelled THO. I am also a life and career coach. I help people get their shit together for a living. It's a lot of fun. I promise. And I make it as painless as possible as getting your shit together can be. I can't promise it's not going to suck a little because like life's hard, man. But you can schedule a free coaching discovery call over on my website, But Really Though, spelled like the podcast. It's butreallythough.com. You can find out more about what type of coaching sessions I offer, and you can also find information about my self-paced programs all over there. You can also get free coaching tips over on my YouTube. It's But Really Though, spelled just like the podcast and the website. Or you can follow me on Instagram at But Really Though. It's BTRLYTHO.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. Send us an email at marsrewatch@gmail.com. You can also find our Let's Play, playing through Mutant Year Zero, over on my YouTube channel, Burger Discourse. And your thoughts on other media and things at my blog, burgerdiscourse.com. And finally, you can find me on Twitter at Pyle Breton. That's PyleBrenton.
All right. Stay toasted, marshmallows.